Hello, hello. Thank you for joining me today. This is the Spicy Pecan Podcast.
Have you ever had a dream that you could do so you could.
Oh my God. I missed y'all. I missed the show. Welcome back to Spicy Pecan Podcast, new season, new energy. I'm super excited, and welcome to any new listeners. Thank you for joining. If you are listening in on Apple Pod or Google Play, make sure you subscribe and leave a review. Those are super important. They rate you higher and they start suggesting you and things like that. If you're listening or watching on YouTube, make sure you give me the thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. Listen, guys, you know I love hearing from you. So make sure you hit me up on the socials if you have any show ideas or you want to be interviewed on the show. It's Spicy Pecan Podcast on IG and on Twitter. I'm trying to be organized today. I felt like today was like the first day of school. I'm kind of nervous about getting back into the habit of doing the show and stuff like that. But a lot has been going on. A lot of really cool, exciting things have been going on. And that was one reason why I hadn't been doing the show as frequently. Well, pretty much why that break took so long. A lot has been going on, which has been great. And also good things coming for the show as well. But I felt like today was the first day of school. I started like messing with my backpack and like packing my backpack. And I'm like, you don't need a backpack for the podcast. Like, you're fine. Woke up early, had those little butterflies in my stomach and stuff like that. So, but oh my gosh, I have been living my best life. It has been fantastic. I did end up getting vaccinated. All that shit I was talking, right? You know what it was? I was one of those people that was doing all of the right things. Always wearing the mask. You know, I stopped wearing gloves, but always wearing the mask, always being super cautious, and I just got burned out. So, you know, people around me started getting the vaccine, people I respected. I started talking to more people about the vaccine. And, you know, for me, especially with my living situation, I live with family. So, and there's older family members. So for me, it was just, you know, a personal decision I had to make. And I am so happy I did, because my ass has been out and about ever since. So it's good to, you know, be able to have that like relief. And I get it. It's not for everybody. And I apologize. I'm like glistening a little bit. It has been a heat wave on the East Coast, and specifically in the tri-state area of New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York. It has been so hot. It feels like it's like 110, but neither here nor there. So just to give you some updates, finances, you know, we talked a lot about finances in the past, you know, we're going to call them 2 seasons. In the past 2 seasons, we talked a lot about finance. I could definitely say, credit-wise, fantastic. I could not have asked for better results as far as what I was doing. Just phenomenal. So super happy about that. And definitely on track to start, you know, with home ownership and all of that. And I've been getting the paces going and talking, starting that process. So that's super exciting. But I have been spending so much money since I got vaccinated, because I have been here, there, and everywhere. A couple of places I'll share with you. I decided, you know, it's Pride Month, or it was. Now we're in July, but it was Pride Month. So obviously, you know, shake a tail feather, time to get out there. You know, as you guys know, I've done like a little bit of dating, but it's not something that I've really been pressed. I just want to have a good time, go out, you know, just have fun. That's really my focus. Work is good, money's good, finance good, getting better, credit fantastic. So, you know, I just want to have a good time. So I went to Pride. I met this fantastic couple. Oh my gosh. And they actually kind of taught me a little bit. And I have to apologize, guys. As you know, if you have listened to me in past seasons, I live on a very, very busy street. So sometimes you'll hear like a little music, sometimes you'll hear like a little yelling. It is what it is, you know. But anyway, I met this fabulous couple. The partners, non-binary, and one of the partners was referred to as they, Sage. Amazing person. Oh my gosh, I sat and talked to them for hours. I spent hours with this couple. They had been traveling, during the pandemic. They had a panel van that they had been traveling with, doing Grubhub, doing different things, just going all everywhere. And were kind of slowed down by like financial reasons. So they were from Pittsburgh, and just kind of like showed me around and kind of took me under their wing a little bit. So super cool. Pittsburgh Pride was very cool. I did miss the parade. But apparently that was a thing. A couple of people that I saw at the parties afterwards and the festival that they had the following day, they told me that they had missed the parade. I guess there was some like weird miscommunication, but apparently it was a big deal. Pittsburgh is a very beautiful city. I would love to go back. I didn't realize how segregated it is though. Have you ever been to Pittsburgh? Oh my gosh, Pittsburgh is one of those places where like Irish people live in this one neighborhood, black people live in this one neighborhood, Italian people live in, it is like old school segregated. So that was a very, very interesting thing to like witness and everything. But it was a cool town. There were a bunch of things that I didn't get to see that I would love to see. So would love to go back. Definitely keeping in touch with that couple. So who knows? I feel like I'm kind of meeting people everywhere I go. I trying to be more organized. So if I look down, I apologize. I'm doing note cards because I always watch these shows back. Not always, but when I do watch these shows back, I'm always like, oh, you forgot this. Oh, you forgot that. Oh, your hair is this, whatever. We're not going to worry about the hair and stuff like that. It is what it is with that. And most people actually do listen to this show on Apple Pod and Google Play and things like that. Even though I do have the YouTube, just because it makes it easier for the people who don't really still understand what podcasts are. And also, just because I think I'm cute and stuff. But so anyway, also went to New York Pride, which was a couple of days ago. Oh my gosh, it has been so long since I've been in Manhattan. New York City blocks are a mother, okay? Let me tell you, we were there all day. We ended up walking 11 miles. 11 miles. But the coolest thing, it was like, you walk on this corner, there's this party going on. You walk on this corner, there's that party going on. Different music, different people, different vibes. It was so cool. I met so many different people. I went with my aunt and we met up with one of my cousins, and he is just like, they're both amazing to go out with. But my cousin is just one of those people. He is the life of the party. He knows how to dance to every song. He ends up getting to know everybody. So I'm just starting to get out of my shell. I work from home. Some people, I think I've kind of shared on the show a little bit. I've been in and out of one relationship after another. So being single for me is kind of like a newer type of thing. It's been years since I've been single for an extended period of time. So, he's like, all right, what kind of girls you like? Helping me get out of my shell. We're walking around this bar, the bar that we actually ended the night with. It was a lesbian bar and it was popping. It was so much fun. So we're walking through, he literally picks some girl. I didn't get to see her face fully. Says something to her. I'm still looking around because the crowd is thick. Says something to her. This girl starts, the girl, she starts dancing with me. We're dancing to like a whole bunch of songs. I had an amazing time. She started making out with me in the middle of the dance floor. I'm like, New York Pride. Yes, I'll take it. And she was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So I had a great time. I also ended up meeting, this one particular group of girls invited me to Miami in October. I'm like, yo, listen, I'm here for all of it. Then there was something in Atlantic City not too long ago. I wonder if you guys checked it out. It was called AC Budz Fest or AC Budz. It was basically a weed convention in Atlantic City, New Jersey, and it was incredible. Yo, they were selling dry bud, edibles, anything that you could possibly imagine when it comes to weed. They had it there. I was doing my research for friends. You know what I mean? Now, you guys know I'm definitely an advocate of marijuana. I think that, excuse me, I think it should have never been placed as a Schedule 1 drug. To be placed as a Schedule 1 drug, there has to be no medicinal quality at all. And we know that is full of crap. Okay? Marijuana is chock full of medicinal qualities. And it's even used across in other countries to help people get off of heavier drugs. So the myth that weed leads you to harder drugs and all of that, that's all that 70s war on drugs, propagandized ideas about weed that people still have today. But it's actually a very valuable plant, and I will continue to advocate for it. And I can't wait till New Jersey actually gets its ass in gear and gets the marketplace together, so that, it's just lovely out here. Listen, I'm here for it. And we're going to talk about weed in a little bit. But definitely excited about more travel. I got my passport, so I'm like itching to, get a trip going. I've been talking to a couple of people, looking at a couple of different places. Like I said, I've been spending a lot of money since, I've been vaccinated and stuff like that. So time to kind of like slow up just a little bit. I do have a couple of events that I have tickets to and things like that. But going to slow up, plan something really nice. And, I'll definitely keep you guys in the loop with that. And, I'll share some photos and things like that throughout the show of some of the things I spoke about. But so let's dive right into it. We're going to get into some Spicy Pecan news. All right, so for entertainment, speaking of pride, right? Niecey Nash, my baby girl, she does it again. She does it again. Just as my heartbreak is finally starting to, solidify, I'm starting to get all over this. I'm scrolling through the Griot and I see this article about how she's talking about she want to travel with her new wife and have sex all over the world. Okay? See, the thing is, all right, if you're just now tuning in to the show, I had a very big crush on Niecey Nash for years. Had no idea she was gay. Obviously no one did. My problem isn't that she's gay. I'm so happy for her, live your truth, live your life. My problem is that I didn't get a chance to have that period of time where I knew she was gay. You know what I mean? And then my crush could have meant more because I knew she was gay and I possibly had a chance, even though I knew I didn't have a chance, but the slight possibility was there. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? So, she did me wrong, guys, basically. But listen to this. So this is what she says, actual quote. I want to make love all around the world. I need some stamps in these passports. Break my back over here. Break my back over there. Niecey. Just like, she's so, I love her so much though. She's so funny and she just, every interview I always see her in, or anytime she's talking to somebody, she just always brings this different type of wisdom that's like drenched in humor and just drenched in such realness. I'm just such a big fan of hers. I can't talk about her enough. But later in the article, she actually talked about a little generational trauma that, just kind of got me thinking, because this is a very real thing. And just a reminder to all of us, I'm going to read the actual quote. I come from a long, long line of women who felt like their identities were wrapped up in whether or not they had a man. Blind, crippled, or crazy, married or lazy, get you one, keep one, because it validates you to have a him. So, I mean, just another reason why I love her. It is revolutionary for Niecy Nash to choose personal happiness. She was married to a pastor, very deep entrenched in the church. That is a very tough culture to do anything outside of the norm. So everything in her life would tell her to not choose a personal happiness like this, but she did, and it's just amazing. Getting further into entertainment news, another celebrity living their best life right now, Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby has been released from prison on a mother effing technicality. And this is one of the most disgusting just breaks in justice. I mean, I just feel so bad for the victims. Prosecutors basically reneged, supposedly, because I have been looking at a few reports, and it just, the whole thing looks real sketchy. It just smells of privilege and money. Prosecutors reneged on a previous deal that apparently Bill Cosby had with them, in that if he gave specific testimony, which he did, to Montgomery County, a county that I actually lived in for a while, loved it there. He gave the testimony, and in exchange for that, there were to be no prosecution, no felony charges, no jail time, no nothing, because he was going to give this testimony. Supposedly he held up his end of the bargain. They did not. So now this case has been thrown out. Cosby has not, he's not been found innocent or anything like that. Like, I don't want anybody to be confused. I've been talking to a few people about this, and I am just so disturbed at how people are just so ready to cape for a predator. But, the wild thing is he's previously confessed to drugging and assaulting women. So when he thought that he wasn't going to be prosecuted, he told the truth. So when you see these articles where they say, Bill Cosby has maintained his innocence. Yeah, he's maintained his innocence. You got to remember the culture he comes from. Bill Cosby is an older man. That is the generation of you take it to your grave. He's not going to say anything, and his wife is not going to say anything. That is that culture. That older black culture where if you were molested, if something happened to you, something where it was against the family, anything like that, you take it to the grave and you tell nobody. That is the culture that Bill Cosby is from. And do you think that he would just outright say that he did that, knowing the reputation that he's built up on morality and trustability? I think it's disgusting, and I think that he should rot in jail, honestly. Screw Bill Cosby. Going back, after the Niecy Nash story, I was supposed to tell you something that is so incredible to me. I am just so happy for her. Congratulations to Dana Owens, Queen Latifah, New Jersey native, Her mom had a restaurant not too far from my college when I lived in Bergen County. And I went, and I'm pretty sure I saw her, but I did see her a few times in New York. I saw Diddy a couple of times too. But that's the extent of my little celebrity shit. I saw a couple of like random 80s movie stars, the people that were in those like rom-coms. But anyway, congratulations to her. She finally came out. She gave an acceptance speech at the BET Awards. And she thanked her wife. She's married with a child. And I constantly forget that because you never see the baby. So congratulations to Queen Latifah for finally coming out of the closet. I know that her mom has recently passed away. I have to believe that has something to do with it because, again, in many cultures, black being one of them, some of these things you just don't do if it is against the family. So if you have a parent or a grandparent or a relative, just someone in your family that is not acceptable of something, I have absolutely seen people come out after someone has passed. So I'm, very sad that her mom's passed. I know that they were very close. Her mom was a beautiful woman, and it seemed like they had a great relationship. But I have to think that that has something to do with it. I'm very happy that, she is able to live her full life. What else we got in news? Let's go to a new segment I'm starting. Spicy Boss Babe. So, Spicy Boss Babe today is Rachelle Zola. And I'm a little late on this story. I know there have been articles for probably about the full 40 days. But Rachelle Zola, 73-year-old Caucasian woman, went on a 40-day hunger strike. This was reported by the Chicago Tribune, the article that I saw. She went on a hunger strike supporting H.R. 40, a bill that establishes a commission to hold hearings on slavery, discrimination, and recommend remedies. So that is something that we absolutely have. This country will never, ever, ever move forward in a significant way until we make a true reconciliation with slavery. This country would not be what it is without slavery. And to just step over it and whitewash the story the way that we have, we'll never get to a place of understanding until that's done. Look at apartheid. Nelson Mandela held those, I don't know if it's called trials or tribunals or whatever, but that's what they did. They had reconciliations. They talked about the atrocities. We have to make a reckoning with this history. So I am all for it. And this is exactly what we're talking about when we're talking about allies. It's to make yourself uncomfortable, to go outside of your comfortable bubble that protects you because of a system that demoralizes others. So you have to step outside of that protection and expose yourself, make yourself uncomfortable to make significant change. And this is what we're talking about with allies. It's really not enough just to retweet things. Appreciate it, but we have to take steps forward. I'm your sister too. For, my Caucasian brothers and sisters that listen, all one of you. But listen, Rachelle is not new to this game. Rachelle has been in the Peace Corps. She did extensive outreach in Chicago. She talked to a lot of people to really understand the issues. And she's going to go all across the country advocating for this bill. She's going to go in rural areas. She's going to the hood. And she's going to be talking about it. So this is amazing. She says she has a goal of 2022 to get this bill passed. And let me give you some quotes from Rachelle so you can get a sense of her spicy personality. This is phase 1, and I'm not going away. The other quote. I am willing to die for my brothers and sisters when there's an injustice. Or no, I'm sorry. Damn, I messed that up. Am I willing to die for my brothers and sisters when there's an injustice? Yes. Yes, Rachelle. Yes. I'm going to start following that. And she also documented this on YouTube if you want to check it out. If I remember, I'll throw the link in the description. It's called Hunger Strike Rachelle. I'm sorry. It's called Rachelle for HR 40. But you could just Google her name, Rachelle Zola. Thank you so much, Rachelle. So, a brand new segment that we're starting and something that I definitely want to follow much, much more. Marijuana. So, Clarence Thomas, the griot, is reporting on this. Clarence Thomas is weighing in on federal marijuana laws. It's actually really interesting to have a stiffy like Clarence Thomas, actually agree with me. So anyway, Clarence says federal marijuana laws may no longer be necessary or proper. So the current situation is medical marijuana is legal in 36 states, and 18 states have passed recreational marijuana, New Jersey being one of them, like we discussed earlier. Personal story, when I was at Pride, because I knew New York had passed the recreational law, but obviously you don't know how things really flow. You know what I mean? So I'm at Pride and I smelled, a couple little things. But I wanted to test it. I saw on Instagram Wiz Khalifa was smoking a blunt, walking down regular city blocks in Manhattan. And he was like, it's recreational out here. It's free, baby. Let's go. So have had my little joint or whatever. Rolled right past some cops. I was with somebody. Rolled right past some cops. Nothing. And I'm like all nervous and shit. Nothing. So cool. So cool. So anyway, direct quote from Clarence. The federal government's current approach is a half-in, half-out regime that simultaneously tolerates and forbids local use of marijuana. And I totally agree. I realized the big deal of this during COVID. The way in which states make their laws and then federal government makes their laws, and how you can open up a business in one state and be totally fine in that state, but be breaking federal law. It's absolutely insane. Like what we saw with COVID. You got this state doing this for schools. You got this state doing that for schools. Nobody is on the same accord, and it's absolutely ridiculous. It makes no sense for us to actually run this way. I understand that states have their own identities. I get that. But certain things, like something as big as marijuana, something as big as abortion rights, something as big as the way that we're handling things during a pandemic, these should be federal. Everybody do the same thing so we know what's what, with a few caveats, because obviously you're on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast. We live different. It's a little hotter over here than here, so maybe some things won't work over here that work over there. I get that part, but we got to clean that up. So listen, let's get to the topic. This is something that I actually wanted to discuss in previous seasons, but never really fully got around to it. And I just want to put this bug in, everybody's ear, because this is something that we really, really need to be paying attention to. We as a culture don't talk enough about climate change, pollution, and the way that it affects us more. So, I was scrolling, and most of you guys know, I work for a nonprofit. They have 5 campaigns. One of the campaigns is climate justice and jobs, because they pretty much go together. If you're doing the right things for climate, there should be infrastructure like jobs that just go along with that. So, for example, if we're converting from this type of energy source, fossil fuel, to this type of energy source, whatever, renewable gas, there should be some type of, there should be some type of jobs that actually come with that, right? We need new machines. We need new skills. How does this made? So all of that. You hear that music? Yes. So basically, what people are saying is no climate, no deal. Biden has been going across the country pushing his infrastructure package, and people all across the country, climate groups all across the country are stepping up right now, protesting right now, organizing right now to say, if this bill does not have climate justice remedies, climate justice jobs in there, there should be no deal. And I agree, we cannot move further in this way. The reality is we're killing ourselves. We have more cancer, more asthma, more diseases, more everything, because we're building all of these things and creating power plants and different power sources and all of this. We were not built to live this way. We weren't. Our bodies have not evolved. We don't have fins now. We don't have gills to, filter out the polluted, water and air. Our bodies have not evolved for this. We cannot sustain this way. So, we really, really need to start thinking about these things and how we can start implementing little things in our lives. Now, in future episodes, I'm going to have some professional guests that can speak to the things that we can actually be doing. For now, I just wanted to kind of open the conversation and just kind of put a little bug in your ear and let you know some stats that were actually pretty disturbing. So just to give you a little background of what's happening right now, obviously the Republicans are blocking this because the fossil fuel industry is big industry. Gas, big money, deep pockets. Deep pockets mean deep political ties, deep roots, because you could just pay a motherfucker and say, hey, I have this new machine. Yeah, it causes, 20% cancer rates in, in 100-mile radius of it being placed, but we're going to make $3 billion every year. And you get the taxes from that, or whatever the slide off is. You know what I mean? So listen, couple of stats. The University of Michigan, the Center for Sustainable Systems put out a report, and you can Google it. It's called the Environmental Fact Sheet 2020. So they found some very interesting things, and I'm going to rattle off some things, okay? Nearly 37 million American homes suffer from energy poverty. Basically, they can't afford utilities. This leads to severe health effects from extreme hot and cold. So you can't afford an AC. You're hot you're always sweating, you're always hot, you can never get comfortable, your body never gets a chance to relax. That can cause illness. Cold, you can't get warm, you can't afford the heat in the in the winter time. Whatever the case, that causes illness. I didn't know that, and I actually started to Google a little bit, and it's pretty legit. I don't want to get too far deep into any of these facts. I just want to pepper these off. Listen to this. Low-income households spend 3 times as much as their income on energy than non-low-income households, despite consuming less energy. That is wild to me. So you don't use as much, but you spend more. And there have been things that I've read and different things that I've heard where people have said that it's actually more expensive to be poor. You're taxed at a higher rate. Everything is more expensive around you because you more than likely live in a food desert. So your food is more expensive. Your access to things are way more limited. So you always get the stiff deal. You never get the sweetheart deal because you're always low man on the totem pole. Wow. And this is us, y'all. Like we've really got to think about these things because where are power plants? They're not in the suburbs. They're never in the suburbs, y'all. They're always in the hood or like rural poor areas. They're always in the hood. Think about Camden. For years, when I was growing up in Camden, there was actually a bad smell. And I don't smell it as much anymore, but that's because there's there's a couple of different plants, but there's a huge power plant in the middle of the city. And we wonder why kids have higher rates of asthma in the hood, higher rates of bronchitis and breathing conditions. But another one. A case study cited in this report found that energy efficient light bulbs are less available and more expensive in higher poverty urban areas. I don't know why I'm tripping off that so bad. Another one, listen to this. The World Health Organization estimates that climate change will cause an additional 250,000 deaths per year between 2030 and 2050. Do you plan on being alive in 2030, 10 years from now? So what are these numbers going to look like in 2060? And what about the inventions that we haven't made yet that probably aren't as energy efficient, or whatever little bull crappy, laws in place that allow people to pollute in certain areas? How are these numbers possibly accelerated between now and then? Basically is what I'm saying. Another one. Low-income communities are more likely to be exposed to climate change threats like floods, storms, droughts. Think about Katrina. And that makes perfect sense. Think about the response to Katrina. There was no response for a while. Why? Because it's us. And that's why we need to be vigilant about these things. We are basically, and I'm starting to be more comfortable saying this. Black people, minorities in this country, are the conscience of this country. We demand that the laws, the fairness is spread amongst everybody. We're always fighting for equality because we're the low man on the totem pole, which means we're always fighting for everybody because there is nothing that we've won that everyone hasn't been able to enjoy. Nothing. And probably even more so than the people fighting for it. So, listen to this. Though wealthy, developed nations like the U.S. emit larger amounts of GHG per capita, developing nations experience the worst effects due to their limited resources and ability to adapt, which means that us as big nations who do all this bull crap of polluting like the way that we do just so flagrantly, and the way that we could just care less and we ride around in Hummers. I'm not saying that personal consumption is never going to be the biggest thing. So I'm not trying to shame anybody if you have like a big SUV. I apologize for that. Your personal consumption is never going to make a huge dent. It's really what industry is doing it, because they're doing it at such a higher rate that our personal little Hummers and SUVs are not really going to make a dent. So it is what it is with that. But listen, guys. What I want to say about this, I just wanted to put a bug in your ear. I just wanted to give you some facts so this starts to kind of germinate in your mind that this is the pivotal issue that we must worry about. I mean, yes, we all want racial injustice, but if we all did, right? So one of the things that I can suggest you do, if this is something that you're like, yeah, damn, I know, research more. Look up that report. Where was it again? It was the University of Michigan. University of Michigan Center for Sustainable Systems put out a report called the Environmental Fact Sheet 2020. Another suggestion to you, learn more about the Thrive Agenda. Thrive, Thrive Agenda. This is an amazing group that has been galvanizing. My organization is a part of the Thrive Agenda as well. And we want legislators to pass the Thrive Agenda. It covers everything, and it is solely, its focus is to make sure that the most disenfranchised people's voices are heard. That we believe that if we take care of the bottom first, everyone benefits. So check out the Thrive Agenda. There's websites. You can check them out on social media, and a lot of organizations have already signed on. Also, look at making, little personal adjustments. Like I said, I'm going to have some people on the show that could talk to us a little more about this, peppered throughout the season. I'm not going to belabor this. This is just something that we need to kind of focus on and start thinking about. But we'll continue to follow this, this issue. So listen, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am so grateful. Always grateful. If you haven't done so already, make sure you share this episode with someone that you think would like to hear it. Somebody that you think, might think I'm cute or whatever. I'm out here. Okay? Sis is out here. But listen, guys, I love you. Give me the thumbs up on here. Like, subscribe, do all of those things. Hit me up. DM me on the socials. Guys, as always, stay spicy and be well. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to Spicy Pecan Podcast. This is a Wonderful Me Media production.